This is our final week update. This week on Monday, you have Unit 4, Block 2. On Wednesday, you have Unit 4, Block 3. And Friday will be our final day of class. You will submit your Essay 4 as well as your presentation. The final day to submit any and all revisions or missing assignments or anything you plan to submit for this class will be February 2nd, which is the last day of class. So make sure to plan accordingly and that you get everything in by that deadline. Hey class, so this is our final week of class. We are already here. And so what I want to do is make one last video explaining what you are going to be doing this week and hopefully answer all your questions as we get into our final essay. So first of all, hopefully you've already turned in your Essay 3. I will have those graded hopefully early this week, and then you will have a chance to revise if you want. A reminder that the deadline to submit anything for this class is going to be February 2nd. So if you are going to revise anything, you need to get it turned in along with your Essay 4. So plan for that, make sure that you have that time set aside. And then for this essay, Essay 4, you're going to be taking your Essay 3 and adding to it. So hopefully that helps with the quick turnaround. We're really just adding to your argument paper and adding more persuasive elements to it. So let's get started with Essay 4, Step 1. This is going to be your prompt and brainstorm. So for this assignment, you're going to have a Google Doc. And you are going to, or this document is going to go over the persuasion requirements. So these are the things I need you to add to your essay to make it Essay 4, basically. So some of these will be things that maybe you add within your existing paragraphs, but some of these may be things that you want to add additional paragraphs to. So I am expecting you to add, 1 to 2 paragraphs minimum, and possibly more depending on how you want to approach some of these. So for the requirements, you want to know and address your intended audience. You want to include discussion of at least 2 counterarguments from the opposing side. You can use counterarguments that are provided in the discussion board that you guys are going to be completing, or you can come up with your own, especially if you've already encountered some in your research. You're welcome to use ones that you've already encountered. You are going to consider ethos, pathos, and logos, and make sure all 3 are addressed in your essay. You're going to incorporate at least 3 or 4 additional persuasive tactics. So those are tactics that I gave you the list for the assignment for persuasive tactics. It's going to be persuasive techniques right here. So those are going to be what you're going to take from. So choose 4 persuasive techniques from that handout. And then you are going to do all that, write your essay, and then you are also going to be submitting a presentation. So obviously this is online. I'm not going to actually make you present, but you're going to be creating a Google Doc or PowerPoint or whatever your preferred presentation technology is. And you are going to be creating a presentation where you walk me through everything you've added to the essay, and also explain why you've added it, why you think it makes an essay more persuasive. Sorry for the sound in the background. And then you also are going to make sure to avoid any fallacies. So that is going to be for the requirements for this essay. And then I just have some questions for you to ask to have you start thinking about what you plan to add. So fill this out, and then that will be Step 1. And then Step 2 is going to have you post your central argument to this discussion board. So you are going to basically state your thesis statement more or less, and then kind of some general bullet points of, how you're supporting that claim or important information to know. So for example, the argument would be energy drinks should receive the same amount of regulation that alcohol receives. That would be the central argument. And then some kind of general bullet points of why. So that's what you're going to be posting here. And then your classmates are going to be commenting on your post with some counter arguments. Now, I know for a lot of your arguments, you're probably going to agree with each other, right? We're not going to get that much opposition naturally, since a lot of you are choosing topics that I would argue are pretty well accepted. So what I need you guys to do is kind of play devil's advocate, which I hate generally when people play devil's advocate, but for this purpose, it actually makes sense because what we're trying to do is get into the minds of the opposition. So what I'm going to have you guys do is comment on two of your classmates' arguments here, central arguments, and you are going to comment with 2 to 3 counter arguments. So maybe some things that you've heard people say or some general beliefs that you're pretty sure people have that might be in opposition. So again, it does need to be things you personally believe, and if you want to put a little thing that says, this is not my personal beliefs, but I'm just trying to give you some counter arguments, I did that, it's totally fine. But the goal is to provide your classmates and then to be provided with some counter arguments that you could possibly incorporate into your essay. And for those of you that are doing this ahead, I'm sometimes providing the counter arguments. So if you want to look over the counter arguments that I've provided for ideas, feel free to do that. That's absolutely fine. Obviously, don't provide the same counter arguments that I did, but you can get a sense of like what they're supposed to look like. Okay, and that is going to be your step 2, and that is it. So the rest of it is just up to you to write this essay. Because we're working off an already written essay, there's no point in doing an outline or anything like that unless you want to. So I'm just having you do these 2 steps, and then you're going to submit your final paper here. Again, it's the same persuasion requirements. And then for your presentation submission, same thing. You're going to make your presentation, make sure that you are addressing all of these requirements in your presentation, and then explaining why you did that and why it makes the essay more persuasive. And that is going to be the end of the semester. If you have any questions, as always, you can let me know. But yeah, good luck, and I will look forward to reading your persuasive essays.